Hey folks, and welcome back. I've got something exciting for us today, but I want to start out the video by thanking today's sponsor, Teasing Minis. We're going to talk about them a little bit more later on, but they're responsible for getting this really cool model kit into my hands. Let's jump in and get started. This is what we're going to be looking at today, folks, and I'm betting a lot of you recognize this. Yes, you've probably seen this terrain kit somewhere before, whether through the recent surge of YouTube videos about it or by thumbing through a White Dwarf magazine 20 years ago. This building was everywhere back then and is an iconic piece of the visual history of Warhammer Fantasy and now the Old World. Now, I don't play either of those games, and I'm betting some of you don't either, so if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to break down what it is and why I think it's so great. This is called the Fortified Manor of the Empire. That's not exactly a catchy name, but it consists of a house, a tower, a connecting passageway, a modular outbuilding, a stone wall, and a selection of incredibly cool, hyper-detailed fences. On top of that, it also has so many modular pieces and options for assembly, including the option to separate the buildings and use them individually to help flesh out your gaming table. That's right, if you're using this for D&D or Frostgrave, then the house, the tower, the outbuilding, and the fences can all be separated and used on their own. And the real kicker for Games Workshop, the price is actually pretty good. Not fantastic, it's certainly not an inexpensive kit, but the price is on par with what any other company is going to charge you for this much terrain. And the detail and modularity is fantastic. Even as a retooling of an older kit, the level of the sculpting is just amazing. If you've watched this channel a while, you'll know I'm always the first one to call out Games Workshop or Citadel for their pricing practices and for the way they treat their customers. But that also means I should be the first one in line to pat them on the back when they do it properly. And this time, it's really a pretty great value. I want to pause here for a second to talk about the video's sponsor, Teasing Minis. I know what you're probably thinking. If you've been to one online hobby shop, you've been to them all. Well, you're wrong. While Teasing Minis does have the expected stock of skirmish games and war games, card games, all of that, what really makes them stand out and has made them quickly become one of my favorite hobby shops is their massive and ever-changing collection of pre-owned minis. This collection is always being changed and updated, and there's always exciting new stuff coming in. Whether you're looking for Warhammer Fantasy miniatures, which at pre-owned mini prices become super viable for D&D, or if you're looking for actual vintage D&D or Ralpartha miniatures, or if you've got a side hustle in bolt action. These are all things that I have seen in their used minis section. Now this stuff can go pretty fast, so you're going to want to check in regularly, and it's part of what makes the site so good and so absolutely addictive to keep going back to just to see what cool new miniatures they have in stock. I'm actually there right now. You guys are kind of distracted me. Don't you have a video to watch? The assembly process is more or less the same as it is with any plastic model kit. You clip the pieces out, carefully trim off the excess with a hobby knife, and then use plastic cement to seal them together. Make sure to dry fit your pieces first to see how they go together before you assemble. Plastic cement actually melts the plastic and fuses the two pieces into one, so there's really no going back if you're unsure. So test it first. And if you're really unsure, just use super glue. You can come back and plastic cement it later if you want to. That said, the assembly process is pretty easy, but it is definitely an older model kit. It doesn't have the tight lock-fit style that GW's new stuff does. The connections are a little floaty, loose in places, but ultimately it isn't too bad. What's really impressive about this kit, though, is the seemingly endless extra options and extra pieces that come with it. It's really impressive. There are chimneys and telescopes and shingles that can be hung over doors, and a whole handful of extra logos and emblems that can be put on the buildings. There are torches, there are lanterns and braziers. Most importantly though, and the one that impressed me the most, is that there are alternate window treatments, and they even provide some alternate wall pieces that let you cover up some of the ubiquitous Warhammer skull decorations with other non-skull options, which is great because it's Warhammer. There are 10,000 skulls on this thing, and I just don't know who decorates a house that way. Oh, but seriously, the modularity, it's beyond impressive. And so is the sculpting. On top of the obviously very well done detail work in the walls, the bricks, and the fences, it is filled with hidden little details. Like this goblin hiding away beneath this tree, or a spider clinging to the underside of the roof of a completely optional overhang. It's insane. So on top of everything else, all of these extra details and pieces, any of them that don't go on the building, can go right in my extra bits box. Now, if you can't tell from my enthusiasm, I'm pretty thrilled about this kit, and if you like it, you should come back for the painting tutorial I'll be posting shortly. Of course, things like this wouldn't even be possible without my amazing Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for helping to keep the channel going, and tossing even $1 or $2 a month my way makes such a huge difference. Thank you. If you've liked this video and you want to see how this painting tutorial turns out, or the huge, amazing craft project that I have coming up after this, please consider hitting like, subscribe, or sharing with a friend who you also think would be into this. It's the easiest way to help a YouTube channel grow. Now, if you're still here, then thank you for watching, and there's more content on the way soon. I'll see you on the next one.